Zodiac has the strongest set of anime characters? That's the question we continue to answer today. Welcome back to the series where we rank all the Zodiac strength based off of the anime characters that are born in each sign. If you haven't seen part 1 where we did all the Aries, go ahead and watch that. And if you've already seen that but you don't want to hear me explain how the strength levels are, skip to here. Now we will be ranking all the characters on a tier list, a strength scale based off of the One Punch Man threat level. Starting at our Wolf tier, this is the appearance of a being or group that might pose a threat. Then our Tiger level, this is a threat to a large but unspecified amount of people. Our Demon level threat is where it starts to pose a threat to the whole city or its foundation / its functionality. Then our second to last one is the Dragon. This is a threat to multiple cities. Our final threat level, the God level threat, is a threat to humanity itself or just the entire world. Oh yeah, we also added a 0% threat just in case, you know, they're, well, useless. And one last thing before we start is that 1, I am 1000% correct on everything I say and it's all fact. And 2, if I don't know the character, I probably didn't include them. So if you see a character in the series that I missed, feel free to yell at me in the comments and explain why they are a God level threat. Alright, perfect, and we now have them all right here in front of us. I will admit, I think this is the smallest group we have had yet. There is apparently not a whole lot of Sagittarius anime characters out there, but you never know. Maybe all of these guys will be the strongest characters that we've seen. So let's get right into it. Starting with Akashi from Kuroko no Basket. So not the biggest threat because he is a 0% level threat. He on the floor on the basketball court, he is a God level threat, but not really a threat. Next is Asuka from Neon Genesis Evangelion. Usually I would not give characters their Gundam suits and everything, but I'm not gonna lie, based off of just not having a whole lot of people here, I'm kind of debating it, and with that, I'm at least gonna give her a demon. You know what? Let's be fair. I wouldn't do it in any other stance, so we're not going to do it now. She's going to might pose a threat for the sheer fact of, like, technically she could be a dragon or a demon level threat with her Gundam suit, but for the most part, we're just going to put her in. Next, we've got Bakugo's mom, who is another 0% level threat. Frankly, she is not that strong, so that's where she's going to go. Next, we've got is Brawler. Now, Brawler, I think, is our first legitimate threat on here, and I think we should put him in a solid Tiger level threat for the fact that we know the dude can fight. Like, his name is literal Brawler, but I don't think he's enough of a threat to take down a whole city or anything past that. Now, someone who I do think could probably take on a whole city, and this is kind of just based off the fact that they were a major character and a major kind of leader, and that is Cat Viper. And I'm going to put him in that demon level threat because I think he could easily beat Brawler, and the fact of he kind of was one of the commanders or the rulers for the Zou Kingdom, which technically isn't that small. But I am going to give it to them because, frankly, there's just not much on here. Next is Don Chinjiao. I would honestly say that he is a threat to a large number of people. As far as I remember, he is the one of the people who was able to face up against Garp, but at the end of the day, he's really not that strong, so I am going to put him in a large number of people. Next, we've got is David from My Hero Academia. He is a amazing creator and everything, but at the end of the day, he's really not that strong, so I am going to put him in a might pose a threat because of his technology. You could argue he's a very big threat, but him as a character, not that big of a threat. Next, we've got is Eri. Now, Eri, I know technically you could say she's like a God level threat because of her quirk and everything, but I'm not going to do that. Let's be realistic. Eri might be able to hurt like a single person and just kind of reduce them to ash, but I am going to put Eri in a 0% level threat because, like, that's just kind of where she is. Next, we've got is Gojo. Now, Gojo, I know a lot of fans would say that he's a God level threat or a threat to multiple cities. No, he's not. He just isn't. At most, Gojo is a demon level threat at best, and that's being, I feel like, very generous. He's not that strong, but we're gonna give it to him because, frankly, there's just not a whole lot of people on here that can compete. Next, we've got Hikifune from Bleach. She is one of the strongest characters in the Bleach world, but she's not necessarily known for her damage output, more of her support output. So with that, I am going to put her in a threat to multiple cities. We might move her up to a God level threat for the sheer fact of I don't know if we're going to get any in that, but for right now, we're going to put him there. Isen, or I believe it's Ichigo's dad, which I don't know why it's using this picture, because that's not him, but I'm assuming that's who it's supposed to be, and I would say he is a demon level threat. I mean, I feel like he could easily kind of fight a whole city or destroy its foundation, but I don't think he's a threat more than that. And next we've got is Kaneki. Now with Kaneki's power and everything, you could definitely argue he is a demon level threat. And with his group around him of just absolutely powerhouse ghouls, you could definitely make a threat to multiple cities. But as of right now, I'm just gonna put Kaneki in a nice demon level threat because I just think that's a really good spot. Next is Katakuri. Now I'll admit, Katakuri alone I would say is a demon level threat. Katakuri with his observation hockey and a master of his mochi fruit, I would say he's a threat to multiple cities. I think that might be pushing it a little bit far, but you know, for right now, I'm just gonna leave. Next we've got Kidomaru, the Spider-Man from Naruto. I'll be honest, he's a threat to a large number of people. Him with the other sound ninja, you could definitely make an argument to a whole city, but him as a character, he's not that strong. I mean, he struggled with a kid Neji. Then we've got Kizaru. I would say Kizaru is an easy dragon level threat because of the fact of his light fruit is pretty OP, and it's the fact of like he can pretty much destroy an entire building with like half a kick. So I don't see it being a big issue for him to take over multiple cities, but that is just being generous today. Next we've got is Kota. I'll be 100% honest, that's a 0% level threat. I don't really know what to say. Next is another 0% level threat, Kurumi from Licorice Recoil. She's a hacker, so you could maybe make an argument for Wolf, but I'm not gonna do that. She goes in 0. Next we've got is Rock Lee. I would say Rock Lee is a definitely multi-city level threat, especially because he doesn't even need all 8 gates to take over one city. I would say he would need like 1 gate to maybe 2 gates to take over a whole city. So I would say if you put him in 7th gate form, multiple cities is pretty fair. And I think that he's pretty much on par with Kizaru, but that's just a personal opinion. Then we've got Lelouch. I would say Lelouch, it might be our only one on here that is a definite god level threat because, well, he pretty much took over an entire country, and if he decided to, he could definitely take over the world, especially with his Gios powers. I just think that's probably a fair spot to put. Next we've got is Masaki from My Hero Academia. He is just kind of a hero, so I'm just gonna put him in a large number. Then we've got Megami. I would say Megami is a whole city for the sheer fact of her explosions alone. Like, her explosion could probably level multiple cities, but I think Megami is more of a whole city level threat than a multi-city level threat, but that's just a personal opinion, so we're gonna leave her there. Next we've got is Merlin. I would say Merlin is probably a threat to multiple cities. Like, she is a demon. I think that's probably a good spot to put her. And yeah, I think that's fair. Next we've got is Misato from Neon Genesis Evangelion. I'm gonna put her right next to her because, well, she can at least shoot, but at the end of the day, not too much of a threat. Speaking of not really much of a threat, we've got Okobi Steins Gate. He's not a threat, he's a scientist. Then we've got Oven. I would say Oven is probably on the same-ish as Katakuri in the sheer fact of like his destruction powers is pretty damn able to destroy a city. Like, all he would really need to do is just touch the ground and just kind of bury everything. So I'm gonna put Oven there, and I'm gonna kind of leave him at that. Next we've got is Pika. I'm gonna put Pika in a whole city level because, well, he can kind of be the size of a whole city, so I don't see the reason why he wouldn't be a whole city level threat. But he's another one of those ones that's just kind of there because of his size. Then we've got Sai. I would say Sai is an easy tiger level threat. He's strong, but he isn't anything crazy, so he goes there. Then we've got Sailor Jupiter. We actually have 2 god level threats without a doubt. There's no argument. Sailor Jupiter goes above Lelouch every time, but I love that. Good to know we have some. Then we've got Toshinora. I would say he is a whole city at minimum, maybe even a dragon level. I'm gonna put him at dragon level because I think we're gonna have to move a lot of these people around, but as of right now, we're gonna keep him there. Next we've got is Uta from Tokyo Ghoul. I would not say he's too much of a threat, but he's kind of more of a mask maker, so I would kind of put him in the might pose a threat because, like, he is a ghoul, so like he can hurt people, but probably not that much, so he goes there. Next we've got is Yoshi from, I believe this is Uzaki-chan or Miss Nagatoro. Both those series are the exact same thing to me, so she's gonna go in 0% level threat regard. And then our final one, like I said, guys, this was definitely the smallest one we've ever had, and a lot of these characters are pretty self-explanatory, so it's not too bad. But we end with Zora from Black Clover, and he goes none other than a tiger level threat. He's a trap magician, so he's strong, but he's not that strong, so he's gonna go there. But I am gonna kind of rearrange some of these because I feel like some of these might be a little too high. I'm actually gonna put Miss Bakugo up top because she probably could throw hands with everyone. I'm gonna put Uta at the top and her at the bottom. I would say the strongest out of these guys is probably Sai and Zora, which means I'm not gonna lie, these demon levels I think are a little too high. I think that's more fair. Demon levels I think are fair, but I am gonna move Oven. Kizaru can stay, Kakaguri can go down, and so can Rock Lee. I'm gonna put him there. I think that's a pretty good spot. Nora's probably strong, especially with his Bankai. I just think his perfect version is just stronger. Then I would probably say Kizaru is probably the weakest. I would say Merlin probably beats him. And then Lelouch and Sailor Jupiter. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys did, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. Bye-bye. And boom. Wow.